Imagine this. Someone insults you in front of others. Your chest gets hot. Your face burns. Your mind screams, "Fight back." But deep down, you know shouting won't make you strong. It will only show that they control you. The Stoics, people like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, taught us something powerful. They said, you cannot control what others do, but you can control how you respond. This is not weakness. This is power, the greatest power. Because when you control yourself, no one else controls you. In this video, I want to share 5 Stoic responses that you can use in conflict, not to destroy others, but to win respect, protect your peace, and maybe even turn an enemy into a friend. Stay with me, because the third response, it changes the game completely. Response 1. I see your point. Help me understand your reasoning. Have you noticed something? Most people who attack, you don't really think before they speak. They just throw words. But words are cheap. When you ask, help me understand your reasoning, you flip the game. They expected you to fight back. Instead, you ask them to explain. I'll give you a story. A few years ago, I was presenting an idea at work. A man stood up and said, "This is nonsense. You don't know what you're talking about." Everyone looked at me, waiting for the explosion. But instead, I smiled and said, I see your point. Can you explain what part doesn't make sense? Silence. He froze. He fumbled. And finally admitted, well, I didn't really read the full plan. The whole room saw the truth. His words were empty. This is the beauty of this response. You don't fight. You let their own lack of thought expose itself. And if they do have a point, then you gain wisdom. Either way, you win. Socrates once said, the only true wisdom is knowing you know nothing. Asking for reasoning makes you look strong, calm, and curious, not weak. It transforms conflict into a conversation. Remember, use a calm, honest tone. If you sound sarcastic, it backfires. But if you're truly curious, people respect you. This response makes you the leader of the moment. Response 2. You're absolutely right, and here's what I'm going to do about it. Now, let's talk about something even harder. When you're actually wrong, nobody likes being called out. But the Stoics taught us, truth is more important than ego. If someone points out a real mistake, the fastest way to win respect is not to defend yourself, but to own it. I remember a tough client meeting. The client said, you've missed deadlines too many times. We're losing trust in you. My team froze. Everyone expected me to defend us with excuses. But instead, I said, you're absolutely right. Here's what I'm going to do. From now on, you'll get weekly updates every Friday. And I'm personally making sure we hit the new deadline. The client's anger melted. Instead of fighting, we started working as a team again. Why? Because most people attack for one of 2 reasons: to make you squirm or to see if you'll fix a problem. When you admit the truth and give a solution, you remove their fire. There's nothing left to fight about. Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. That means, don't just talk about being strong. Show it through your actions. When you admit fault and act fast, people don't lose respect for you. They gain it. But here's the warning. Only use this when the criticism is true. If someone lies about you, this is not the right response. But when you are wrong, admit it, fix it, and grow. That's strength. Response 3. That's an interesting perspective. What made you think of it? This one is my favorite. Sometimes people attack not because they're right, but because they want to provoke you. They want you to look small. But instead of fighting back, you use curiosity. You say, that's interesting. What made you think of it? I'll give you a story. A woman I know, Rachel, is a graphic designer. At a party, someone sneered at her. Freelancing must be easy. Just playing on a computer all day. Everyone at the table felt the insult. But Rachel didn't get defensive. She smiled and asked, that's an interesting thought. What made you think freelancing is easy? The man stammered. He had no answer. He finally admitted he didn't really know what freelancing was like. In front of everyone, he exposed his own ignorance. This is the beauty of curiosity. You don't attack. You don't defend. You let them reveal their own weakness. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When they're petty, you stay calm. When they insult, you stay curious." And everyone sees the difference. The key here is tone. If you sound sarcastic, it becomes a fight. But if you sound truly curious, it becomes powerful. This works everywhere: work meetings, social gatherings, even with family. Most insults don't survive when you ask where they came from. You don't fight them. You let them fight themselves. Response 4. I appreciate you sharing that with me. This one works like magic. Most people who criticize you expect one thing: your defense. They're ready for excuses. They're ready for anger. But when you thank them, they don't know what to do. I once had a neighbor storm up to me. He shouted, "Your dog barks all morning. It's driving the neighborhood crazy." My first instinct was to defend myself. But instead, I said, "I really appreciate you telling me. I didn't know, and I'm glad you came to me directly." His face changed instantly. His anger turned to calm. He even gave me advice on dog trainers. We solved the problem together and became friends. Gratitude disarms hostility. It shows security, not weakness. It says, "I can hear you, even if you're angry." Seneca said, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." When you thank people for their honesty, you end the fight and start cooperation. Use this when the person is harsh, but has a real point. It makes enemies into allies. Response 5. Silent pause and thank you for that insight. This is the strongest response of all. Sometimes people insult you in ways that cut deep. They attack not your work, but you. In these moments, silence is your weapon. A few years ago, during a business pitch, a competitor interrupted me. He said, "I don't think we should take advice from someone with such little experience." The whole room froze. Everyone waited for my angry comeback. But I paused. 3 long seconds. Then I said calmly, "Thank you for that insight." The silence that followed was heavier than any words. The room saw his cruelty, not my weakness. Later, people came up to me and said they respected my composure. And yes, we won the contract. The pause is powerful. It forces everyone to reflect on what was just said. It highlights the other person's ugliness while showing your dignity. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." Your silence speaks louder than their insult. This response is strongest in public, when others can see the contrast between their anger and your calm. But even in private, it leaves a mark, because silence plus calm thanks equals power.